Okay, here we go.
Welcome, everybody. We are just connecting to Facebook. So one quick second. We have Joseph getting
All
set
right,
up
good morning, ladies and
and
gentlemen. We
myself
are
as
going
well.
live
So
today discussing
let me go where I
video
need to be.
to get
How is
lower
everybody? Where are you listening from? Let us
retargeting.
know. Let us
Jaime
know.
will be jumping in just a moment, like we
We'll
do
be
every
with you
single
in
week,
2 seconds.
and changing my angle
All
just a
right,
bit.
today we're talking about
for,
video.
I
So
don't know why, just to have a different angle. But give us just a minute, and Jaime will jump
all
in.
right,
There's
send the
Jaime.
request.
Now, approve. And the YouTube King is coming on to tell us about YouTube, and we're also going to talk about retargeting as well. There's Jaime. Welcome, Jaime.
Bam.
Wham.
Give me 5,
Wham.
Joseph.
You're
Give me
good.
5 right there.
High five.
Partner.
Bang. All right. Can everyone hear us okay? Those of you who are coming on watching right now, let us know if you can hear us just fine. And I am going to go over to the agents group so we can see comments coming in, answer questions like we normally do each week. Again, those of you who are coming in, tuning in live, thank you for joining us live. Those of you who come in later to see us on the recording, you know that we come here to drop some major knowledge, actionable knowledge, so you can start making money with the things that we talk about today. Well, probably tomorrow, because you're probably going to sleep after this. But thank you for joining us during this time. Jaime, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. I can hear you perfectly fine.
Awesome. Awesome.
Shall we go ahead and start knocking this out and let people know how to make more money and get lower cost leads through video ads? Not just video ads, I guess video in general.
1000%. Let me get my Patreon ready. As
All
soon
right.
as I get the Patreon going.
Your PayPal link?
Get the PayPal link. I'll drop it down below. I'm always off center.
Oh, you're good. You look good. You look good to us.
Thanks.
To us the viewers.
Thanks. I'm good for the podcast. I don't know about the YouTube, but cool. Joseph, you want to hit us off?
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Joseph Gonzalez. I'm coming to you live from Singapore. My guest and every week guest, because we're both guests to our own podcast, I guess, is Jaime Resendez, coming from the DFW area. And today we're talking about, this is episode number 17. Is that correct, Jaime?
17. We've made it.
Wow. 17 weeks. Man, there's a lot of things that can change in 17 weeks. But and this episode 17, we're talking about video done right, how to get lower cost leads with retargeting. So if you want to learn about Facebook ads, retargeting, YouTube, all these things we're going to talk about, stay tuned. Make sure you stay to the end. There might be a surprise giveaway. I haven't told Jaime what this is yet, but if you stay to the end, you will get a surprise giveaway from myself personally.
Heck yeah. I'll stay to the end. I'll stay to the end for that.
All right, Jaime, I'll let you kick off on what you want to discuss first, and then we'll start rocking and rolling and getting the people what they want and what they need today.
Sweet. So welcome everybody back to the Agent Lead Source podcast. We're super excited. We're talking about video. This is something that I've been super passionate about for the past 2 years. And Joseph, he's a master at it when it comes to being on video. I mean, you're seeing it right now, but when it comes to being on video with Facebook. So I operate mostly in the YouTube environment. So I think we have a good contrast of how to leverage video in different platforms, which we'll talk about today. But more specifically, we wanted to hone in on video in regards to paid advertising. Now, before we get to the actual the platforms, I think it's important to remind everybody, Joseph, about video and how it can reach all types of audiences. And what I mean by that is the cold audience, people that have never heard of you, people who have no idea you exist, the business that you're in, or anything. Video can also reach the people that are considered a warm audience, so that at least have seen you before, have an awareness, or at least remember, oh, there's that Joseph guy, or there's that Jaime guy. So there's some sort of recognition. And then video absolutely crushes it in those two, but it absolutely crushes it with your hot audience. So somebody that knows you, I'd venture to say even likes you and is considering using you for their next transaction, for their next purchase, for their next whatever. So it's not a question of if they're going to use you for, let's just say, a real estate sale or any other type of service that you may be in. It's a matter of when. It's a question of when. So video is a great communicator. That's probably not the best way of applying that word, but it's a great communication tool that is often overlooked with paid advertising. And I kind of wanted to flip the script real quick, Joseph. Why do you think video is so underutilized right now? Do you think it's an intimidation factor? Do you think it's a lack of awareness of how to use it? What do you think it is?
Yeah, so by the way, ladies and gentlemen, let us know if our signal is clear and what you're seeing on either Jaime or myself, so we know if you can see us clearly, because we want to make sure we make sure our connection is good so we don't miss anything. So Jaime's question is, why do I think it is such a daunting thing to attack or approach as a creator? Jaime, is that correct in your question?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, my belief is a lot of people don't enjoy hearing themselves or seeing themselves on video, which I find rather interesting, because if you think about ourselves as humans, other people are hearing us all day long. We're talking to other people all day long. And if people enjoy your conversation, why would you not want to obviously see yourself or think that you don't sound good or you don't look good? That means that your appearance to everybody else is that. But I think we as humans also grade ourselves much harsher than anybody else is ever going to grade us. Not degrade us, how they're going to grade us as humans and what we look like and what we sound like. So I think that's part of the issue. The other issue is technology. A lot of people don't understand technology very well. And I think it scares them away or makes them shy away from taking on these different platforms that they've never utilized before. YouTube, Facebook, Facebook Live. But reality is it's not as hard as they think it is, right? As most people think it is. So I think those are some of the things, some of the obstacles that keep people away from actually doing video, Jaime, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on what keeps people away from taking on video?
Fair. That's fair. That's fair. Joseph, are you getting a lag? About a couple seconds lag?
Yeah, I am lagging today. I'm not sure what's going on here. I just turned my Wi-Fi off. I'm going to see if that helps.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like
you or me.
Yeah, I turned my Wi-Fi off. I think it might improve. Again, viewers, if you're watching right now, please let us know if this is improving at all. How Jaime looks, how I look, not our actual physical appearance, because that would probably hurt our feelings, but how the stream is coming in from either end, so we can make sure we adjust our streaming wherever we need to adjust our streaming. But it seems to be better now, Jaime. I think that lag is somewhat gone now.
A lot better. So I'm glad that these challenges that we don't normally have present themselves when we're talking about video. I love how it does that.
Perfect.
But yeah, we're gonna champion right through it. So I think you're absolutely right when it comes to the, why it's not being adopted as much. For me, I would say, and in answering that question of why it's not being readily available or being readily done as much as it probably can, is just because there's not necessarily that know-how of how to make video that's going to convert. Now, what I mean by that is I'm operating from I've really been on this YouTube ads binge in not only the ads that I run personally, but in the ads that the agents that I work with run. And with YouTube, it's a different platform, of course, than Facebook and Instagram. So with YouTube, you have a split second to get somebody's attention. So capture somebody's attention before they go on to view a video. So with YouTube ads, you have different types of ads, but the most common type of ad is the in-stream ad, which is just like a microsecond, basically, at the beginning. And you can also run some ads in the middle of a video and at the end of the video. So you don't have the luxury of just going off podcast on them and doing an entire hour. You have to capture somebody's attention, for one, and then two, really make that connection so as to them reaching out to you, either giving you their contact information or reaching out to you on that very spot before they go on to watch a video. So going back full circle of what I'm talking about, I think that the art of making an offer is kind of lost on a lot of people that are creating videos. But even before that, there's just this resistance of actually making a video. And I venture to guess because there's they just don't necessarily know how. And it's not
Yeah.
a derogatory item. It's just
Yeah.
you want to put your best foot forward out there, especially when you're doing something new, and you don't want to waste a lot of money. So you were telling me about an app that was really good about making video pretty much on the fly.
Yeah. Yeah. So those of you who I think a lot of people want to look professional, right? They want to look good on their videos, but reality is you don't have to be the most professional, have the most professional looking appearance when it comes to doing a live, right? Like you and I are doing our live right now. People are tuning in, they're listening to what we have to say, right? As far as our video is concerned, and then podcast, obviously, it doesn't matter what we look like as long as they can hear us, right? But if you want to look professional, there's an app called Switcher Go. I'll put it in the comments here. I don't have an affiliate link. I don't even think it's free, actually. And you can get Switcher Go for free. And what Switcher Go allows you to do, and this is going to be the Apple link, those of you who have Android or any other device, you can see if they have something that's comparable. I'm sure you can just Google what's comparable to Switcher Go. But what Switcher Go does, it allows you to actually everybody's watched the news, I think, for the most part, that at least lives in the United States, right? And anybody who's watched the news, you've seen the little bar that gives you information, right? Like today in Dallas, Fort Worth, 17 people were shot, right? Whatever they say in Dallas, Fort Worth. Today in Dallas, Fort Worth, Girl Scout cookies went on sale, whatever that says, right? So with Switcher Go, it allows you to put your information down there. It says, in today's live video, you can say 4-bedroom, 5-bedroom, or 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom house. And then on that, you can actually put your information that is something like your phone number or your name and email, right? So now you're branding yourself. And once you do that once, you can create that in Canva, canva.com, it's free. Create that little banner on the bottom, and then you just use it for every single video that you do. So you can always have your name, email, and your picture on there every time you go live. And you use Switcher Go just like you would use Facebook Live. And now your information, every time you go live, it looks super professional. We have some real estate agents that have been doing that for a couple of years now, and it looks fantastic. Every single time they do it, it's just different, right? It's just that element of professionalism. Those of you who like to wear a suit and tie every time, you can add that to your lives. And some people enjoy that. I don't like it to do it every single time because I do have like Jaime, and then I have other people that I do lives with. So it's a little bit different bringing somebody in, but as far as branding yourself, it's a fantastic tool.
Yeah. And just like that app, there's 100 more after that. There's 100 more after that, right? There's
yes.
what we wanted to share with you and illustrate with you was, that's a fantastic tool, and it's fantastic that it's absolutely free, but there's other tools out there. You don't need the fancy equipment. You don't need the fancy editor, or producer, like the one that we have with Pat Patterson, but it's something that it's something that you have available to you at the drop of a hat. So going a little bit deeper on let's focus on the Facebook ads for a while, because we were talking about that as we were doing our show notes before we came on. We were talking about how it fits on the cold audience, the warm audience, and the hot audience. I think it warrant a little bit of a little bit of opening up each type of audience to give people an idea of what type of messaging can be done with the video in each type of audience. How can you speak to those? So I'll go first, Joseph, on this. Let's just go with the cold audience, right? Let's go with somebody that hasn't heard about you before, or hasn't necessarily even heard about the product. In this case, since we're talking about real estate agents, I think at this point it's everybody knows the product, everybody knows what's happening. But some good videos that are really producing a lot of engagement, are producing a lot of people actually commenting, actually sharing, actually taking some action outside of just clicking the types of videos that are working well are informational videos, videos that provide something of value, videos
Yeah.
that will cover the market, so the previous month's market, your opinion about what's happening with the interest rates. Now, of course, you can't necessarily be super accurate with that, and I would encourage you not to start making a lot of claims out there because that can really backfire, but just provide some context as to what's
Yeah.
happening, where they are historically, and just be mindful of, you certainly don't want to make any representations that are going to get you in hot water later on, but provide
Right.
something of value that is that's going to be, be received well. It's going to be, all right, hey, I didn't know that. I had no idea that
Yeah.
the real estate market was acting this way.
Yeah.
What would you suggest to those agents that are trying to go down that funnel, that want to speak to a cold audience?
Yeah, whenever you're talking about cold audience, anytime you're trying to attract new clients, right? We're talking about new people, never heard about you before. They don't even know your name. They're seeing you for the first time. It is always important to provide value and show your knowledge base, right? And if you can provide value and show your knowledge base, then people will start seeing you as authority figure. You're going to help me. You're going to hear me say that you've heard me say that in past podcasts. You're going to hear me say that in future podcasts. Jaime will also probably say this multiple times as well. It's about becoming an authority figure in your market. So I'll give you an example. Earlier this afternoon, whenever I was up about 3 o'clock this morning in Singapore and I couldn't sleep, I was doing some scrolling through Instagram. There are a couple channels that I follow, and one of them posted that Experian Boost. I don't know, Jaime, if you're familiar with that. It allows you to increase your credit score without doing anything extra besides adding your bills that you normally would pay to Experian Boost. And so you can now add Netflix, Hulu, and a couple of other streaming services that most people are using, especially today, because obviously we've seen in the stock market, the price has gone up because more people are buying, right? So that means more people are utilizing it. People with bad credit are probably utilizing it, right? So they're, instead of paying for increasing their credit, they're paying for Hulu and Netflix. But anyway, that's for another show. Now, since you're doing that, you can actually put those on there, because the more you pay your bills and via credit, and obviously you're paying your credit, the credit for those things, it starts to increase your score over time. So if, for example, somebody had commented, again, this is what I've seen, so don't take it for statement for your particular credit situation. But as an agent, you can say, hey, here's a tip for those of you who are interested in raising your credit score. Sometimes this increases your credit score by 10 points in one single day, right? Now, if you're looking to buy a house and you're trying to find ways to increase your credit score, this might be helpful to you. That allows you to look at like an authority in your market, because you're helping the majority of people who have a credit score below 600 in the United States. You're showing them how to increase their credit score. Now, whether that sticks on the credit score or not, that's a whole nother conversation to have with a loan officer, a whole nother conversation to have with a credit specialist. But it's showing that you can tell people, hey, here's something that you can utilize. Yeah, of course, seek a professional, but here's what I've seen, heard. If you want to try to increase your credit score, here's a link to Experian Boost, right? And then allow them to go do it. Of course, we know in real estate, you've got to be careful when you have to send them to the specialist. You're the specialist on housing, but you send them to a specialist that does that particular thing. And because you're sending them there, you're going to be seen as a person of authority by showing them how to do these things, because they probably didn't know how to do it in the first place. Hopefully it answers the question. I mean, a very long question, a very long answer.
I didn't know that was a thing. So that's awesome.
I didn't know until this morning.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, how you repackage that is through video. So you just make some points and translate it on video. You can do apps, the apps that we already talked about. You could pay somebody on Fiverr. You can pay somebody on Upwork. You can do it yourself. Record the bullet points. You don't have to have it perfect. You just need to have it done. That's basically the motto there. So providing something of value upfront is a point that we're making when it comes to speaking to a cold audience, because they have no reason to care about you.
Yeah, trust you, like you, anything.
Exactly. They don't know you even. I mean, and it would be. I don't want you to feel bad about it. But at the same time, the same thing that's happening to you, it's happening to people that even the big players like the Tony Robbins of the world, the Gary V's
Yeah.
of the world, there's still a lot of people that don't know who they are, and their advice is, at least I would say, is pretty darn good. So it happens to everybody. And one thing that is specifically, since we're talking about Facebook ads and advertising to a cold audience with video, something I want to advise you of, and everybody that's listening now, is don't expect to get a lot of sales from this first campaign. Don't
No. Right.
expect to get a lot of conversions, a lot of leads, a lot of product sales or anything like that. You're gaining exposure, and yes, you will get some sales. Yes, you will get some opt-ins, but that's not the goal of this type of video in addressing the cold audience. So I just want to make sure that people are aware of that, because I have had those awkward conversations with agents that I partner with, and when we launch an ad and it's a video ad and we talked about the strategy and it gets deployed and 5 leads came in instead of the 50 leads that we're traditionally, accustomed to getting within the week, there's that frustration. So
Oh,
be aware that we're building on this audience. We're pushing them from cold over to warm, over to hot, and we are running what's called a campaign, an actual campaign. We're not just running an ad, and there's a difference. An ad is just
yes.
one singular thing that's going to serve a particular purpose. A campaign is an aggregate of ads. That's what we're talking about. So just want to make sure that people are aware of that, because it can lead to some uncomfortable conversations.
Well, I think that's the thing that people don't understand. Yes, you can get leads from video ads. That's possible. But you're not going to have the abundance of leads to follow up with from video ads like you would if you're doing a lead ad or if you're doing a traffic ad to a website landing page. So most of the time when you're doing video ads, you're doing it to build your custom audience is what's used in Facebook, is what it's called, right, Hyman? But really, for us, I call it my secret audience, right? Like people who don't know that I'm actually retargeting them, right? Except for people that are in the industry, they know that. But so to build your secret audience, all you do is you just run video ads, $1 a day. You can run. I'll give you an idea. Do you want to be seen everywhere, anywhere and everywhere? You run a video. You run 10. Most people say spend $5 to $10 on ads, right, to generate leads. What most people don't talk about is how to be omnipresent, which omnipresent means be everywhere. You run a little 5 to 10-second video, or excuse me, about a 15-second video that says, "Hey, my name is Joseph Gonzalez. I sell real estate here in Dallas, Fort Worth. Looking for people who are considering selling their house. I have a special deal. Send me a message or click the link below if you're interested." You record that video one time, then you run 10 different ads at $1 a day for either the month or the year. And those ads can be placed in Facebook through Facebook ads, and then be placed on different apps. They can be placed on news websites that people are visiting right now. They can be placed everywhere. The idea is to brand those and then to grow your secret audience through that, right? So you can target different categories for each ad, and then your audience is going to grow abundantly. And then from there, you run your lead ads to those people who have seen your face, right? Oh, I'm thinking about selling my house now. Oh, here's Joseph. I know who he is. I've seen him 500 times this month. He's obviously good at selling and marketing. I'm going to now click on his ad to give my information to sell my house. And most people don't think about that cheap ability to grow your audience to thousands upon thousands in a month, right? And so that's just one way, as we talk about cold audience, approaching it. So Jaime, I know it kind of took a long story there, but it's a secret strategy that I use and have used for years to grow my custom audience, also known as my secret audience, right?
100%. And I'm glad that you call it something different, because whenever we say custom audience, it's going to be new for a lot of people, but there's a lot of people that there's also going to be some people that are like, oh, okay, I have heard of custom audience, but don't necessarily understand how valuable that is. So I'm glad that you use the word secret, because it's kind of like a springboard for my next point of this custom audience, or the secret audience, as Joseph is labeling it. It's unique to you. You're the only
Yeah.
user on Facebook that has access to that audience. Now, there's going to be cross pollination, right? There's going to be users that are in my audience because they're generally interested in the same type of content that you have, or in somebody else's audience because they're generally interested in that type of content. However, everybody together, they're not going to have that same audience that I have. So the database that I
Right.
upload is completely different than yours. Well, I should say completely different. Most of it is different than yours. Everybody
Yeah.
that I'm retargeting of the video of everyone that saw my video is going to be different. People that engaged with an ad of mine is going to be different than yours. So this is a curated list of an audience, or a curated audience that only you on Facebook have access to. This is yours.
Yeah.
And that's why we're building on each audience, so we can go a lot deeper with our relationship with our clients and our customers. So
Yeah.
you mentioned custom audience, Joseph, earlier, which you coined the secret audience as well. Well, with the video that we were talking about of going to the cold audience, well, you go one step further. You go one level deeper into the warm audience by retargeting. We're coming full circle with the name of the podcast, folks.
Yeah.
With retargeting those people that showed a level of interest on Facebook, you can retarget the people that watched 3 seconds of your video. Believe that. Like, it's just crazy. Just 3 seconds. I wouldn't necessarily target those because that's a very cheap view, but you can also do 50% of the video, 75% of the video, an entire sales message. So if you put either the 15-second example that Joseph gave, or if you put a 5-minute description of how to sell your house yourself, so a FISBO, if somebody watched that all the way through, what do you think they're thinking? What do you think they're going to what's going to be next? So you go deeper with that relationship in your retargeting, and that's how we start going from that cold to warm to hot. You're building that relationship instead of just doing the shotgun approach of just running this ad over here. Oh crap, that didn't work. Let me run over here to this other audience. Oh crap, well, you know what? Let's give up on Facebook. Let's go over to YouTube. Let's try to figure it out there. So you're not building on the wins, and there's still a lot of people that don't have the custom audiences set up on their Facebook page, don't have the custom audience of their Facebook pixel installed on their website. There's just a lot of money that I don't want to say it's wasted, but it's not optimized. I really don't want to get to the point of saying wasted, because it's at the end of the day, you are putting your name out there, and you're going to get the super low hanging fruit, but you're not going to get a lot of it.
Yeah. Jaime, let me ask you this. If somebody wanted to learn how to do this, could they reach out to you to learn how to do the optimization of their accounts or optimizing their custom audience? Would that be
100%.
okay for people to reach out to you?
100%.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so if you want to learn how to create custom audiences, ladies and gentlemen, Jaime is first off at 12,200 subscribers on YouTube. There's a reason for that. He knows what the heck he's talking about. So if you want to learn how to do that, I highly suggest you reach out to him via Facebook or YouTube, or his email address, which is Jaime. Remind us what that really difficult email address is again.
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. It's Jaime@JaimeResendez.com.
If you can't remember that, just look up his name and then email him that way.
Yeah, just type in a variation of my name and it'll come up.
So Jaime, to your point, when we talk about custom audiences, people have a difficult time, like you're talking about, understanding how to create these custom secret audiences. I'm going to give a tip right now on how to do this very easily. A lot of you know that I'm a big fan of organic, like big time, right? I love organic marketing. I love to get free leads, if you will. That's what organic marketing is, free clients, so that I increase my margins of income, right? So here's a tip. It's the business tip that I've used on so many episodes, and I've used for the last 4 or 5 years. It's simple. You go to, and this is gonna make sense as far as connecting it to video in just a moment. But you go to these free Facebook groups in your local market, and you're just gonna post, "Hey, who owns a small business? How can we support you?" Comment below. That's all you have to do. Now, your question is, Joseph, why would I do that? Well, there's so many things you can do once you've done that. Number one, is once you have all these people who have commented, you thank them, you send them a message, right? We always talk about the next step. You posted, all these hundreds and hundreds of people are going to comment because there's a lot of business owners there. Then what you do is you say, hey, thanks so much for commenting. Would appreciate your support. And instead of sending them to your business page to like your business page, you say, hey, I just liked your business page. I appreciate your support. Will you go check out this video? It's about what I do, right? And it's a little 15-second video that's on a website and a landing page that you can build for pretty much nothing. Put your Facebook pixel, and again, if you want to learn about Facebook pixels, reach out to Jaime about Facebook pixel. Put your Facebook pixel on there. Now what you've done is you've found business owners, and those business owners are going to go visit that website. As soon as they visit the website, you're going to pixel them. You're going to then, Jaime, again, going back to building a secret audience, custom audience, you're going to build a custom audience of people who own businesses. Those people who own businesses are people who then have money most of the time. People who have money are typically people who are buying higher price houses. People who are buying higher price houses are what real estate agents want most of the time when we're complaining about bad leads. So it's a full circle, and understanding how to build custom audiences and just putting a little bit of work in to build a higher quality lead base, and then you can go build a lookalike audience of people who have money in your market that are going to buy houses eventually.
Boom. Boom, boom, boom. There's a lot of things that I want to say about that. So I'm going to narrow it down to, let's go with two. So one point that I want to make and really emphasize there is what Joseph just covered is multi-step. They're simple steps, but they're adding on each other. So when I say simple, I don't mean it in a derogatory manner. They are simple, but they are multi-step, right? So basically what Joseph is covering is a campaign. He's sharing a campaign strategy where you are combining different tactics and strategies that build on each other. So we used to have the easy button. We just did. We used to have the button that literally said, likely to move with our advertising in 2018.
It's been so long that I haven't seen that. I forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah, it was so long ago. Everybody was a digital marketer at that point. But when those went away, there's a lot of people that went with it. So that's a lot of pretenders, and they're kind of back now. So I don't want to call them out by name. You have a campaign, right? You have to know what you're not necessarily talking about. You have to be able to do a campaign together. It's going to be rare unless you have the most effective video, the most effective ad copy, the most effective image to convert somebody just with one ad. Now it's possible. It's absolutely happening every single day. However, it's not happening to the common folk, right? So you need to have a optimized pixel. You need to have, like I mentioned, the ad copy, the image, or the video dialed in. So that's one point that I wanted to illustrate and kind of articulate in a broader sense, or in a more step back approach of what you just mentioned, Joseph. But something else that is so freaking awesome is you took the strategy, back to your point of it being free. You took a strategy that a lot of people are actually going to hear this for the first time, so maybe I shouldn't say that it's a very dated strategy, but the strategy of sending mailers out and doing the exact same thing that Joseph just mentioned. So whenever you send out mailers to your community, let's just call it a neighborhood of 1,000, 2,000 homes, whatever the case may be, you put a QR code, or you put a dfwhomeowner.com for your free home valuation. So driving people to a website that is pixeled. Now, a majority of the people will actually never submit their information. Some of them will, and that's called the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit. That's kind of what we were talking about a couple of minutes ago. But you're not. You're going to take those. Yeah, that's fantastic. But that's not where the bulk is going to be. The bulk is going to be landing there just because they're curious. You did a good job with your copy with that direct mailer that you sent out to 2,000 homes. They're on your website that is pixeled. And then going back to Joseph's point of being omnipresent, boom, you're everywhere. So I like the fact that you went down a completely free strategy, Joseph, whereas the mailer, that would have cost you $1,500, $2,000, depend on what you send. and
Right.
you're going to get a subset of that actually go to your website. So
Yeah.
you took what was once a 15, I don't know, I might have said $15,000. So sorry, 1,500.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So $1,500 expense, and you got that strategy for free. So if that doesn't earn a 5-star, then what are we doing here? What are we
Yeah.
doing here, folks? So if you want to review us at the Apple Podcast Store, I think that's what it's called. 5-star is what we ask. That is game changer right there. So multi-step, build a campaign, and then also the mailer. I think that warrants a 5-star.
Yeah, and if you're coming in and listening to this and you're missing the beginning of that, I highly suggest you go back and listen to it again. Because
Crystal's dropping the mic for you. Crystal's dropping the
thanks,
mic
Crystal.
for you, Joseph.
Thank you. That was definitely a drop the mic moment for sure. I think that's important for people to understand. Like even the video that we're doing right now, there are things like example, Crystal's watching this and several other people are watching this. There are things that as a real estate professional that others just have no idea about. So you will have these quote unquote drop the mic moments, and people are gonna be like, holy crap, I never knew that. Like that's such an easy thing, right? I was having a conversation with a real estate agent yesterday, and we're talking about simple things, right? Because to be honest with you, the simple things make a lot of money, right? People just don't utilize it well enough to, or know it well enough to implement it, right? So that's a very simple thing. Who owns a business? Thank them for commenting, send them a message, send them to a website, create an audience, create a lookalike audience, retargeting video, and then retargeting ad. By the way, now that you have their attention, these particular subset of people that you've already messaged, you can also send them your other information that you want to send them. Like, hey, here's what I offer for listings. If you ever decide to list your house, if you own a house, here's what I offer to my buyers. If you ever decide to just to buy a new house, here's what I offer to my investors. Right? Like you can send them all that information now that you have in the messenger. And I think that's the part that people miss. You are a salesperson. Utilize the video, utilize the strategies, but just take it a step further. And I think a lot of people miss those things, right? Or scared to take those actions, right?
Yeah. Well, and tell me what you think about this, Joseph, because as we were talking about building on our audience, going to that hot audience, the people that know you, hopefully like you at this point, at least are aware of you. We mentioned this in the previous podcast where I try to attribute it to somebody, but I couldn't remember where I heard it from. It's not who you know, it's who knows you at this point. So that's that perfect thing that's happening. But as you're building the audience to that hot status, to somebody that is ready, willing, and able to, tell me what you think about this. When I'm speaking with the agents that I work with when it comes to video, whether that's video for YouTube, just organic YouTube, or video for YouTube ads, or the video that we're talking about with Facebook ads, one of the things that I like to run for that hot audience, for that person that knows, I like to run the sales message of, do you know anyone looking to buy? Do you know anyone looking to sell? Instead of saying, are you looking to sell? Now that's a bit more about my personality. I'm pretty passive. We were talking about that at the before we started recording with the previous something that happened this week. But I like that messaging because I like being spoken to that way when it comes to, again, it's basically my demeanor, but hey, do you know someone? I feel that does two things. It diffuses the salesiness, and then two, it exponentially grows your reach because at that point, that person is not across, the person you're speaking to in the ad is not across the table from you as an adversary you're trying to be sold to. That person, you bring them right next to you in the sitting right next to you, and you're figuring this out together. Hey, Joseph, who do you know that's looking to sell? I know that you're not trying to sell. I know that you're not trying to sell because this is your investment property because you're in Singapore now. But who do you know that can sell? So essentially, you're magnifying it. What do you think? Am I missing that?
No, I'll give you an inside look into our business, right? And so we actually use that strategy. So there are a couple ways to diffuse and take down the wall, right? That's what we're trying to do whenever we're doing these videos, whenever we're having these calls, whenever we're directly speaking to people. You're essentially diffusing or taking down the layers of the wall that's usually up whenever somebody messages you or talks to you via Facebook or whatever have you, especially cold audience. What we do is we say, let's say I was sending you a message. Hey, Jaime, I don't know if you've done Facebook ads before, and you may have, but hey, if you happen to know anybody that'd be interested, we offer a free Facebook ads course, right? And so what we're doing is we're saying, Jaime, we're not selling to you. You probably know how to do this already. We don't want to talk to you about this because we don't want to, make you feel like you don't know what you're doing already. But hey, Jaime, if you do know somebody, please let us know. It's free, right? And 60% of the time, the person who needs help with Facebook, because we've now approached them and said, hey, can you help, right? That's the word. That's a very key word. Can you help us identify people who don't know how to run Facebook ads? Or can you help us if you know somebody that doesn't know how to do Facebook ads? And we'll make sure we get you the link so that they can access it. And 60% of the time, the person who needs help is the person that we're messaging, right? So it's all about that approach and understanding that. So even when you're running the Facebook ad, as you're talking about, hey, do you happen to have a friend who's looking to buy a house? We have a free buyer's guide, and we'd love for you to let them know about it. You can't say tag anymore because you get points for saying tag, but you can say something like let them know, right? By the way, in the video, you can say tag. Hey, we're giving away a free, and you can say free buyer's guide in your headline, free home buyer's guide, whatever you can say in your headline. Hey, we're giving away a free home buyer's guide. My name is Joseph Gonzalez. I work with Pure Realty out of Austin, Texas. If you know somebody that could use help or is thinking about buying a house or needs help in buying a house, tag them in the post below. So you never say tag in the actual description, but in your wording, you do. And then you leave that as it is, and then you run that as an ad. So again, using your approach, Jaime, you're not talking directly to the people who are watching in terms of, hey, you buy a house with me. You're saying, hey, do you know somebody that needs help? I also help people. Would you like to tag them in this post so that we can help them together? And they would thank you for tagging them and allowing a professional to help them. Right. So Jaime, to answer your question in short, I like that approach a lot. I know people who've made a lot of money using that approach.
Nice. So I like that approach because I've been using it. So,
yeah. I've seen it work.
What? I thought I invented it. I was on my way to the patent office. It's just one of those things that it's almost, you know how they say common sense isn't really that common.
Yes.
It just
had the conversation yesterday.
There you go. It just feels that way. Again, it goes back to how I like to be spoken to. I guess how I like to be sold to. Everyone's different.
Yeah.
It's just a strategy, and it's been working. It's been working with the YouTube. It's been working with the Facebook. It's been working with basically anything that you're talking about. The biggest hurdle I feel is that patience. It's the we're in a microwave culture, and I hate to sound so old or whatever, but we are in a place, I myself included, I'll include myself, where we want those results quickly and instantly. So the moment that we run $100 of an ad and it doesn't bring in a single lead because it wasn't designed to do that, oh my gosh, we panic. And I mean, money. I'm not going to trivialize it. Everyone has a budget, but when you're building an audience towards a certain goal, then there's a thing called an investment that you're doing. So seeing that to fruition is difficult, and I'm speaking to myself at this point where it's hard to be patient because you're banking on the fact that this, let's just call it $1,000 ad spend right now, is going to yield $10,000 by the time that the funnel is complete. But what if that doesn't happen? There's always that, oh man, it might not happen. I don't know. So it's that patience thing that becomes a big issue.
Yeah, I think a lot, especially when we're talking about branding, right? Talking about branding, you have to understand psychology a bit too when you talk about branding. Like, what do people want from you as a real estate professional? Right? They want you to make the sell easy. They want you to find them a house. They want you to make their house sell easily. They want you to help them make the process of buying a house easy. So if you can understand how to brand those things, then that's when people are going to work with you, right? Help them make more money. Help them get a house for a better deal. And if you can understand how to get people to do that, the $1,000 that you're talking about spending, Jaime, is going to pay for itself. But you have to understand that people won't work with you until you can serve them. And so once you learn how to serve them what they want, then that $1,000 will turn into $10,000, right? And it's just timing, like we were talking about earlier. It's just understanding timing of the process. That $1,000 may not turn into $10,000 for 6 months, but if you're willing to push through, continue your process, that $1,000 turns into 10. That 10 turns into 100, right? And that 100 turns into a lot more. But you have to just stay consistent with this process of sending out videos, sending out information, and getting people to know who you are and providing that value that we talked about at the beginning of the call, right?
Oh yeah.
Patience.
Oh, yeah.
Patience.
Joseph, one quick thing before I forget, and I think it's important here since we're talking about doing some ad spend across platforms. We're mostly focusing on Facebook ads, but one thing that we want to remember is a lot of people, and I wish I had the statistic. I meant to look it up before we went live, but a lot of people are watching your videos on mute without volume. So especially since we're talking about paid, I was about to get my phone, but I'm recording right on the phone. So
I do that all the
time. When it comes to the video that they're consuming, they are consuming it, but they're reading. So make sure that you use a software or either you transcribe it and put it on your video, or you pay your editor to do it, or you pay a transcription service that will do that for you. You are putting what you're saying at the bottom. I'm guilty of this all the time. So I don't do that with my organic videos, but with my paid, I am pretty good about getting them transcribed, or at least have the words, the dubbed, I think it's called dubbed. So dubbed over, making sure that you do that, especially with ads, because people are watching and are scrolling, and they're not going to turn up the volume because they're either at work or whatever the case may be. But they are reading. So make sure that you do that. That's a huge tip that I didn't want to forget.
Yeah, that's a solid point, Jaime. I'll give you an example of when. So I have back when I used to do a lot more videos like this, right? I used to do a lot of live videos on my personal page. I don't do it as much because I would have to wake up at 3:00 in the morning, and I don't like doing that every single day. So whenever I used to do that, whenever I was back in the States, I would have agents message me like, "Hey, Joseph, I enjoy watching you and listening to you, but sometimes I'm in the office and there are things that are happening and I can't hear you. Is there any way you can put the transcription on your videos?" Right? So that obviously rings very true that there are things that are happening. People are at work, they're on the toilet or whatever they're doing, but they see you, they know you, or it's a cold audience, but they see those first few words like real estate, buy a house for less, make more on your listing. Then they're actually going to pay attention if they see the words. Something else that has happened, there's a new tool out there that is, I don't want to say partnered with Facebook. It can be utilized for Facebook Live. I mean, we should probably start doing this at some point. That actually will transcribe live. So like as I'm talking to you right now, it'll actually start putting the words on the actual live now. So that's very new. That just happened. I saw somebody do it the other day. They had a live call. It was not a pre-recorded live. It was actual live because they were answering questions live. And the words that they were saying were coming across the screen just after they had said them, right? So that's a whole new, it's a whole new level, right? So that's something that is out there as far as that tip that Jaime is talking about. And I'll try to find that tool and figure out what it is later on.
Well, you don't have to find it. Just give it to Pat. Pat will, hey, Pat.
Go find it.
Pull it up, Pat. That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's a third-party tool, that we utilize for doing that.
Well, yeah, we're absolutely, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. All right. So when it comes to, we talked about Facebook ads. We've talked just a little bit about YouTube ads. I really like the Facebook platform right now. I think that a lot of the audience can see that YouTube ads is a thing, but right now a lot of the audience isn't there, and I'm pretty in tune with the audience that is there, considering I'm the only one that has a course on YouTube ads for agents. So let's stay on the Facebook ad side. Let's stay on Facebook for now. Let's talk about some lives, Joseph. Clearly we're doing this right now. Can you give people just a glimpse behind the scenes of why we choose to do things in the live fashion, specifically on Facebook?
Yeah, so the reason I enjoy live, and the reason I think Jaime, you and I do lives, is because you can use it. I don't know if I want to give out all the secrets, but I am one of those people who does give out all
Save
the
some
secrets.
for
So
behind the paywall. Save it for the
okay,
paywall,
okay, got
Joseph.
it. For PayPal, Cash App. So the reason I enjoy using lives is, one, we can use it here. We can talk to people. We can answer questions live. The more people who engage, the more people start to see it, their audience, so forth and so on. If it's not in this private group like this one is, right, a closed group. But so if I'm using it on my personal page, like if I were to tell agents to use it on their personal page, go live, talk about real estate, pick a topic, discuss it for 5-10 minutes, because you can do that. You should know real estate well enough to do that at some point. And those people engage. The secret behind that whole process is this. A couple secrets. The first secret is Facebook gives you more credit and gives you more live viewers whenever you go live. Naturally, the more live viewers, then the more engagement, the more people get to know you. Number two, after you've gone live, and I told Jaime about this probably 4 episodes ago, maybe, how one of the processes. So what you do after you do that is you actually do a watch party. So some of you who are watching this have probably joined one of our watch parties and thought Jaime and I were talking live. We were not talking live, right? And so what I do is I start a watch party in this Facebook group, let the watch party run. I keep my screen open, I have it on mute, and I'm doing other work. And then as people comment, I respond back, right? So it allows me to build 2 separate levels of engagement. One is my live people, and then one or our live, Jaime and I's live audience, and then we get to add the number of people who get to see us through a watch party. And we can invite different groups, we can invite different people. And whenever that happens, ladies and gentlemen, you add an additional, depending on how big your Facebook page is, and that's why it's important to have a lot of friends in your local market, or contacts or acquaintances, you can add an additional 200 or 300 people who get to see you and talk and listen to you talk about what you know, right? So that's why I like lives. We have one audience, and then we have additional set of audience that we can go after, right? And that get to see us, know us, hopefully trust us, maybe not like us, maybe like us, I don't know. But that's why we do that, right? And that's really, really important. And most people don't know that you can do that. And most people will go live and forget to do the watch party after, right?
Yeah, no, that's powerful. That's powerful. And taking one step, so thank you for that, Joseph. That you didn't have to give it everything away. But thanks.
I don't know how to stop. I don't know how to stop.
As soon as the watch people get to this point, they're gonna click out. They're gonna be like, oh, you got us.
Hey, we got 52 minutes in. They're gonna have a hard time. Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, well, we're not gonna make it to the dismount because he's been deceiving us. So taking that a step further, we know at this point video is here. I mean, there's a reason TikTok has blown up. There's a reason that Instagram did the reels to try to compete with TikTok. So I mean, video is really, I feel, it's the best way to communicate outside of physical, and then it's also the way that it's being consumed right now. I mean, it's the way that you consume any message, regardless of what it is. So taking it one step further and just trying to share this with as many people as possible. I mentioned to you that my physical therapist was actually interested in podcast and video and all that stuff before we came on.
Yeah.
Just trying to help as many people as possible and give the behind the scenes for what we do. Right now, we are broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting in other groups as well. This is going to be used in the podcast sense. So the video, I don't want to get into too many numbers because I don't have those statistics right now. But at this point, just with the Facebook, we get several thousand views. From the YouTube, we get several thousand views. From the podcast, we get some additional folks. So all of the content that we're creating, we mentioned that we're on number 17 right now. And our archive is just building and building and building and building. So all that to say, coming back to something that I've already mentioned in this podcast, it's not who you know at this point, it's who knows you. And as we continue to build this library, there's going to be a lot more people that get introduced to us, and hopefully at some point they get to trust us and like us and all that fun stuff. but this is going to be that gateway. This is going to be that gateway drug that they're going to use to go and check out what Joseph is doing. It's going to check out what I'm doing and go see, oh, wow, there's so many different things that they give away for free. If they're doing this from a free perspective where they're not necessarily collecting credit, I'm sorry, they're not collecting credit cards at the door, what's it going to be working with these guys? And I mean, just throwing it completely out there, I think most people had a sense of the podcast and a little bit behind it. This is the cold audience. A lot of people that are returning, thank you so much. We really do appreciate you being here. I see Tyler right there. Tyler's a fantastic agent. Benson, they're I would consider them a hot audience because we've talked with them extensively. So we have a good mix of hot audience that will be they come here every single week, and that's fantastic. Thank you so much for being here. We have a warm audience, and this podcast, this video on Facebook, on YouTube is attracting a lot of a cold audience that we don't have to pay for. So video is just a fantastic way of doing that, where if we were just posting our content in simple written word and possibly a little infographic, it'd be long forgotten. It'd be long forgotten. There'd be no way that we can have the impact that we have today without video.
Correct. Yeah, I think that's, I mean, whenever I think about video and I think about, the impact, like you said, Jaime, even if, this is kind of even crazy to think about, even if you and I completely got out of real estate and real estate marketing at some point, and let's say 5 years down the road, we've started another business, but we do these other things that we're doing right now, and they take off, and we're like, real estate marketing is like just a small part of our business, but we're still good at it, right? We're still going to have people that reach out, right? They're like, hey man, I watched your video from 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Are you guys still doing that? Right? So the point there is, if you're doing these videos like we're talking about doing, and you start building your database of videos, your bank, if you will, of videos like I'm just talking about, that will be with you for a long time, right? And especially if you start putting them on YouTube, that's going to be there for a really, really long time. And you're going to get clients, just like Jaime talked about in one of our previous episodes. He had somebody reach out and ask about buying a house, right? Quite a while after a certain video. Also, if you think about affiliate marketing and the way Jaime does that, like there are people who continuously watch those old videos, right? And those videos have been made months and months ago. So that's the purpose of doing some of this stuff that Jaime is talking about, is because that database is going to grow over time, and people will continue to get to know you and maybe want to buy or sell a house utilizing your services for years and years to come, right? Unless 100%. Facebook gets crushed, but Google's not going anywhere. So
100%. Now, Tyler did ask a question. I personally don't think I have the answer on this one. Joseph, can you stream to IG Live as well?
Yes, you can stream to IG Live. There are a couple of options. There's the hard option, and then I think you can go out and probably search for the easy option. The easy option, I'll tell you first. The easy option is you can go and purchase a app or third-party service to stream to all the different locations. It's a little harder setup, I think, but it's an easy thing to go find. The other option is to, especially if you're not bringing a guest on, Jaime, I want to be very clear on that, right? If you're just streaming by yourself. If you're just streaming by yourself, you can go live on your computer and at the same time use your phone to go live on IG, right? So then you're live in 2 different places. And then you can watch the comments on Facebook on your computer, and then you can watch the comments live on your Instagram, right? So to answer your question, in short, as long as you don't have a guest on, it's easy to go live in both places. But Tyler, I think I watched one of your lives the other day, if I'm not mistaken, earlier this week, and you had a guest on and you were talking about real estate stuff, which is great, by the way. If you have guests, you'll want to go purchase a third-party app and then see how that application and see how that works. But to answer your question, yes, you can go live on IG.
Awesome. Let's see, anything that I missed over here? Pow, watch party is what Jason's saying.
It's an easy tool to use too. Yeah.
He's on to us.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, folks, if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about. If you're on the podcast and listening to this in audio, we do this Thursdays. We do this Thursday night. We want to connect with you. So if you want to really engage with us, ask any questions that come up, we'll absolutely address any and all questions that come our way. So if you want to join in on the fun, we do this Thursdays, 8 p.m. Central on the New Real Estate Agent Group. You're going to find us on YouTube. So just type my name, Jaime Resendez. You're going to find us in other Facebook places. So just the best place to go to find the podcast is to go to the Agent Lead Source Podcast on Facebook. We have a group there as well. So if you want to be part of the conversation, make sure that you're here on Thursdays. We do this again 8 p.m. Thursday, 8 p.m. Central. We do this on Thursdays, and we like engaging with you. And you can't drop memes like that, Joseph, when I'm in the middle of a read. You know what? Don't come to the lives. How about that? Just to punish. So anyway, go ahead.
Join us live Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. Is that correct? 8 p.m. Central. And if you come on and you comment, I promise I will respond with a meme because I am a meme fan, meme king. Just go look at my personal Facebook. You will see I respond mostly with memes.
This is true. They say so much. They say so much without saying it. I agree. I agree. So Joseph, as we get ready for the dismount, because Pat is on to us today. I don't know why he's so bossy today. He's normally
it is that time.
Quiet.
Thank you, Pat.
So as we get to the dismount, I'd like to end it kind of how I started from my end, and then I'll give you the outro, Joseph. Getting things it doesn't have to be perfect. The video does not have to be perfect. It just has to be done. So
yes,
getting something done, getting out there and measuring, hey, how many views did I get? How many clicks did I get? How many people did I get in the comment section? How many leads did I get? How many sales did I get? Getting that thing going is a great tool for you to measure up against. So the next time that you create a video, especially when we're talking about ads, try to beat that. It's I get these comments all of the time. Well, how many views are good? How many clicks should I get? What's the cost per click? What's the cost per lead with my YouTube ads, specifically with YouTube ads, because it has a lot to do with video. What does that matter? What does that matter?
Yeah.
I can tell you what my cost per lead is,
but
that comes with 600 videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you've never done a video. So I'm not trying to sound cocky or boastful, but I can tell you what mine is. It's like asking like Spielberg, hey, how are you going? Maybe I shouldn't make that equation because I'm not trying to equate myself to him. But
the
question that you're going to get, the response that you're going to get from somebody that has some experience is going to be drastically different. It's just going to be drastically different how they do it. There's just so out of touch. I'm not saying that I'm out of touch. Again, I didn't mean to equate myself to somebody like that.
Time. It comes down to time. Yeah.
Exactly. So getting something done, seeing how it performs, and then measuring against that is the best way to go. Is the absolute best way to go. You're gonna find that your ads may beat my ads. Your ads may be worse than mine. But at the end of the day, it's what your performance is, and then improve on your own performance.
Very good. Yeah, it's a very cliche saying, and I like it, but don't worry about what everybody else is doing in regards to their performance. Do what you know how to do. Learn from the people who are performing better than you. Learn from the people who are performing worse than you. And then base those things on what you're doing yourself each and every video and just improve. You know, there's a lot of people that have always said improve by 1% every time you do something, right? 1% every day. But it should be 1% based on each action that is similar each time you do it, right? And as you do that with time, just like compounding interest and money, with that, you're going to exponentially start to grow and get better. And your audience is going to start to grow and get better. So if you can do those things, just continue to get better each time and look at your numbers. And because everybody's numbers will be different. Jaime's numbers, he has 12,000 viewers on YouTube. If I started a YouTube channel today, it was going to take me some time to get there. Could I get there faster, slower? Yes. You just don't know until you actually put it into play. So I think at the end of this, for the dismount, Jaime, just take action, as always, whenever we talk about these things, right? Take action and don't stop and be consistent.
Boom. I like it.
All right.
I like it. Folks, well, thank you so much for joining us on this episode number 17 of the Agent Lead Source podcast. You know how to find us on Apple, on Stitcher, on Spotify, everywhere you're going to find us. So one huge favor before we go, if you can give us a 5-star rating, only if we deserved it. If you're thinking about a 4-star, then we don't need that. We don't want you in our lives. So make sure that you drop a 5-star over on Apple Podcasts. I was just kidding. We'll gladly take your ears, but we're not going to take your rating. So thank you so much, Joseph. I'll let you have the last word.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. If you want the link to go leave a review, if you want any extra information as far as understanding how to build a custom audience, or lookalike audience or any of those things, please reach out to Jaime. He has information on how to do that. He's fantastic at it. Again, 12,000 people who subscribe to him for a reason. Shoot him a message via Facebook. And if you can't find him, you should be able to find him via Facebook. But other than that, thank you for your time. Thank you if you go leave a rating for us. And we will catch you guys on episode 18 talking about whatever we're going to talk about.